Hello and welcome to the first really late movie review for Star Wars Green Titty Milk. Yeah. You all know me, and if you guys have seen my shit before, you know that I was not a fan of the Farce Awakens. But I'm bringing with me on this little conversation a millennial girl who really liked the movie, which
Okay, I'm gonna take offense at girl. I'm not that young.
millennial thing.
Fuck you too. I'm sorry. I shouldn't
So,
curse. Fuck.
yeah, there goes I'll put the monetization timer. I last 30 seconds now. So just a little background on me, at least as far as the nerd part goes, is that I have read probably at least 50, 60 Star Wars novels, as far as Star Trek, 100, probably hundreds, all sorts of sci-fi. I'm a big fan of sci-fi and fantasy novels. I've read thousands and thousands in my lifetime, and yeah, it was a nice big travesty watching that shit on screen. And Emira here, my co-host today, is a millennial.
By which he means I actually like Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So heck you too.
So the just the basics on Star Wars is that if you take the paid critics out of the, for Star Wars, the Last Jedi, if you take the paid critics, clearly paid critics, out of the equation, you end up with, what is it, on Rotten Tomatoes, 184,000 people wrote reviews for it, and there are 52% of people who think it was a steaming pile of shit, and there's 48 delusional retards who have no fucking clue what good cinema is. That's really the basis for it. I feel like the moment you came out of the movie, you felt it was all right until you started thinking about it. The moment you thought about anything on that movie, it just turned into a giant heaping pile of shit. Even if you discount the staggering amount of plot armor in that movie. But I want to get to this part really quickly because, like I said, millennial female in here. So they did throw the millennial female some bones with shirtless Kylo Ren. belly button high pants.
Put the shirt back on. Actually, put everything back on. Put your mask back on. Put your shirt back on. Just throw yourself back into the dumpster because that's where you belong. Kylo Ren, like 100%. I get into fits of like rage every time I think about him.
See, and before we started this, by the way, she was going, everybody has said this shit before. It's this. Why would people listen to me? Because this is entertaining as crap. The amount of rage that she still has months later is probably the best shit ever.
Because it's the worst fucking movie. I'm sorry. Shit.
No, just cuss all you want. It's already gone now. We already lost it.
It's the worst movie. It was so bad because it wasn't even a movie. It was like fan fiction. Rian Johnsons wrote while he jerked off into like, I don't know, a cup for Kylo Ren to drink or something. There
was some alien titties to then be squirted out.
I do not even. How much effort do you think? How much money do you think they spent on that, as opposed to like writing a good movie? You know what I mean? Like how much money?
If people haven't figured out by listening to her, she is of the Oriental persuasion. So how did you like your race being represented so dynamically and so great by Rose? Like, did you feel that it empowered you a lot?
I think what screws me up the most is that I actually wanted to like her character. I really did, and like even before, when they were telling us about her character, like in the little like character snippets, and they were like dropping hints about the character in the story, and we're like, oh, Rose Tico is an engineer, and she's gonna help, save the blah 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 blah, and you're like, okay, that sounds kind of a cool story. I'm excited, and then the movie comes out, and you're like, that's it. That's the story. She basically Lucasfilmed like like everything she says was basically like a Lucasfilm moment. Like what? I'm just.
But I mean, she had such empowering moments where she.
Right, like let's save like the horse or whatever, as opposed to like the slave children, because me as a slave child has no sense of empathy for the slave children.
To be fair, the slave child was white.
Yeah. So okay, you know what? Like, even then, like the whole freaking thing, like let me like, what's that word? It's not extrapolate. What's the other word?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, like let me tell you, like let me like teach you,
By the way, before anybody accepts her opinion in any regard, just remember it's her generation eating Tide Pods. But to back her
I
up,
don't
if you
eat
like the
Tide
movie,
Pods.
you're a dumbass. The
Like I just get so, I cannot even like, I'm so I'm so like, I'm constantly in a state of like wonderment in like the most, in the worst way, because I just cannot believe this was the movie that came out after The Force Awakens. Like, I guess, okay, you can say shit about The Force Awakens and you can say it's too much like A New Hope or whatever, but nobody said A New Hope was a bad movie, you know? So like whatever about The Force Awakens, right? But The Force Awakens already sets up, something for the trilogy. And then Rian Johnson comes and goes, ha 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 ha, I'm gonna shit on everything. And he does. He shits on everything to not even tell to not even tell the story. He basically goes, okay, let me trick you guys by pretending that Kylo Ren is a good guy. Nobody thought Kylo Ren was a good guy, you son of a bitch. And then he's like, I'm gonna pretend that Kylo Ren's a good guy, and then at the end there's gonna be a plot twist, and he's actually a bad guy.
now
And it's like,
to be very fair to Kylo Ren on this one, we probably should have prefaced this thing with there were spoilers ahead. Anyway, if you haven't watched the movie, save yourself. Um, to preface it, Kylo Ren, I don't think at the end he was a quote unquote bad guy. I think he's just a moron. Like,
he's an asshole.
he's a confused, retarded moron, and I think that Rey turns out to be the bad guy because there's a point where after they do this really cool fight sequence with the retarded guards, that, by the way, if anybody ever hires you to protect them, right? Just in general to everybody out there, if anybody hires you to protect them and then they get killed, don't try to avenge them. You're not getting paid anymore. Like, just don't. Just be done. Just be like, nope, peace, done.
No,
like,
I
walk
think
out. Like,
you, as somebody who's hiring bodyguards, hire bodyguards that don't stand like 20 feet away from you.
no. See, that was the hiring process. See,
Like, what is the point?
No. The interview process went a little something like this. The guy comes up and he's like, well, we are an elite anti-Jedi force and we can protect you from Jedi. And Snoke is like, what is your effective range? They're like, 15 feet. And Snoke's like, I want you to stand 30 feet away and never look at me. Like, well, how are we going to... Just don't look at me. In case something is going to kill me in close range, I do not want you to see it, and stay the fuck away from me. We still getting paid? Yep. Also, I want you to avenge me after I die. What the fuck? Like, don't take the contract. No.
I guess, to be fair, there are not a lot of jobs available. You have like
you have Grunt Stormtrooper,
Elite Stormtrooper,
Captain Phasma for 12 seconds of screen time.
Captain. I mean, to be fair, like, would you want to be a captain if that's all you got to do?
No. It's Captain cut his head off with an axe because a blaster bolt's too good, and we need to extend this death scene by another 3 minutes. Phasma. So one of the things that I hate the most about the movie is that it wasn't as much the plot holes. Like, you can watch a movie with plot hole armor that's so thick it's retarded, and people who don't know how to act in it be funny, aka
Game of Thrones.
That too. And I was going to go Battleship with this one. Battleship is one of the most entertaining movies, and it is so fucking terrible, but it is so amazing. It's like, but the one thing that I can't get over, just like the plot holes that destroy your own story narrative. And Rose was one of the biggest ones in this, and something that I never really see mentioned, in the fact that when Finn's trying to get off the ship, she's down there with the taser, tasering people who try to escape certain death and throwing them in the brig where they will face certain death, which means that the rebellion, whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays, because they don't know how to do it before, they're just as bad as the fucking Empire. Like, her job was to be a jackass that sentenced people to death. Like, that was her fucking job. And then, of course...
I think the worst part is she took on the job herself. Like, she volunteered. Nobody else said that this was a job that needed to be done. And yet she was there like, yeah, I'm going to do this job.
And then her sister, of course, like the let's do the dichotomy between the ends, like the beginning and the end of the movie, which was her sister sacrificed herself to drop gravity bombs in space where there's no gravity. Let's just go over that one with a controller and there's no other remote button to drop the bombs. But her sister heroically sacrificed herself, has a really compelling narrative where she just beats herself up, drops the bombs, kills herself to take out this thing with Poe's stupid plan. And then sacrifices herself to save the people she loves. And then at the end of the movie, Finn's basically driving his ship toward this Death Star laser thingy to kill himself, and she knocks him out of the way and is like, it's not about killing what we hate, it's about saving what we love. Basically saying, my sister was a fucking pile of shit, and everything she did was a pile of shit. Fuck that hoe. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Also, that line was sponsored by George Lucas.
No, the line that was sponsored by George Lucas was, we are the spark that lights the embers, that turns the hay bale into a raging monolith, that spreads the fire across the plains into the galaxy of rebellion. I don't know what the fuck that line. They said it like 4 times, unironically. They said it
that
like,
line and
oh my god.
let the past die, kill it if you must. Like, I'm gonna let you die, bitch.
But back to Rey being the bad guy. I'd like completely glossed over that. Like, people don't realize she had just fought with Kylo Ren to kill off the evil Jedi killers and saved Kylo Ren's life in this process, by the way, right? There's a point where she stops him from dying, without getting hit, whatever. And then Kylo Ren's lightsaber's not drawn. He has a hand offered to her in like acceptance to join her. She has a chance to talk to him, convince him, like try to argue with him in any way. And instead she draws her lightsaber on him and fucking attacks him. Like, they wrote her character like a fucking weeb-ass retard. Like,
it's so bad because, like, you already established in the first movie, she never cared about him. Like, he killed off Han Solo. Spoiler: Han Solo died. He killed off Han Solo, like her one, her one mentor. And then, like, you know, she fought him, and then he tried to, like, he attacked her best friend at that time, Finn, and then she had to like save him and all that. You know, she went through like this whole thing where you show that she doesn't like him, and then like for some reason it took him like.
Did you see those pecs?
Yeah, he looks like the titty creature that Luke was drinking from. Which can I just say, I'm so mad that was a detail that was included in the movie. Like, I had to spend money.
You're sad. Some of us are turned on.
I had to spend money and watch that with my own 2 eyes.
There's somebody. It's like the Disney movie. You remember
who decided a question that needed answering desperately was, how much calcium is Luke getting?
I didn't know there was calcium in the titty milk.
I don't know. Like, see, I don't even know.
Right?
It gives us more questions than answers.
But do you remember? I don't know if because you're a little young for this one, but the Disney, they used to sneak shit in like the Disney movies, like pervs and shit. Like there was a giant penis in Aladdin's initial covers or something.
Wasn't that like in The Little Mermaid?
Oh, it was a Little Mermaid. I don't know. And I know there was like sex written in the Cloud Puff and Lion King. Like it was one of those pervs. Like there's somebody still wanking off of the fact that he got away with the titty milk thing. Like he just
like, this wasn't even hidden. Like this had like a whole 30-second like uncomfortable like front frame, like front foreground.
That is going to be the thumbnail. Is just going to be different photoshops of Luke drinking the freaking titty milk. That's what this thumbnail for this video is going to be. It's so good.
Oh, I'm so mad about
it. So the of course we do have the latest, like a few days ago I think it was, that Captain JJ, I don't know what the hell distance or travel time is, and oh god, lens flares are amazing, Abrams decided to come out and defend Star Wars The Last Jedi by basically saying that everybody who hated it was just didn't like the fact that there were so many empowering women or female characters. Like they didn't like the fact.
It's not empowering if the story is about freaking Kylo Ren. Like, what is empowering?
No. There's not. I mean, I dare you to find a single empowering female character in that whole movie. There isn't one. They even made Leia an unempowered female character.
Right? How? How do you feel so badly?
Rose is just an imbecile. Let's just go. Okay. Oh, sorry. Rose's sister was probably the only empowered female character in that movie, and she's got like 12 seconds of screen time before they murder her.
It's like they don't know what the word empowering means.
What about the purple hair bitch? I mean, she was really empowering.
No, she was not. On what please tell me what level of military allows you to hide all the freaking plans from people? Like, not even like,
Well,
yo, I have a plan.
hold on. You have another question though. What kind of military allows purple hair? Like the tactical disadvantage of that in any combat situation.
Attack the one with the purple hair first. She has all the plans. And then she dies, and everybody's like, shit, we don't know the plans. It's like, why? Just what? How you want to talk about? You wanna lambast Poe about not listening, or not following orders, or not being able to communicate, and you don't lambast her. I don't even remember her name. You don't lambast her for not being able to communicate.
Cotton candy head.
You like, why? Like,
Now speaking of Poe I think was one of the biggest annoyances to me in the movie. I personally did not like his character in the first movie, and I really was disgusted with his character in this movie because they basically shit on everything they did in the first movie. Like, they didn't follow his character through. If they'd followed his character through, I think he would have been a better character for the movie. Instead, they basically made him a frat boy who somehow has gotten control of all this shit. Like, what? Like, what? If this is evidence you've seen of this guy, why would you lead him in charge of things beforehand? Also, at the start of the movie, she's basically Leia's telling him not to do shit, and he cuts off communication with her. Well, he's the only one who cut off communication with her, not the other 95 fucking ships that got blown to hell because of his thing. Why doesn't Leia just go change the comm channel? Like, it's the dumbest shit. Like, the plot hole armor in the movie is, like, it's beyond ridiculous. I mean, the level of just physics fails in general were pretty high compared with the fact that in the first movie, J.J. Abrams thought the speed of light traveled faster than the speed of light, which is fucking hilarious. And that you can see other planets from your planet. Like, if that was the case, man, they'd be really fucking close and the debris would hit you when they got blown to hell. But in this one, they don't even know how space works. The entire premise of the movie is a space chase scene. Like, the space chase...
It's like Mad Max in space, basically.
Yeah. Well, but it was even worse than that, because Mad Max makes sense. You're on Earth, you're constrained by gravity, you've got to live... You're in space, for fuck's sake. Okay? If you want to tell me that you're in envelope range to shoot these motherfuckers, and then you say they're too fast, they're getting out of our envelope range to fire, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense anyway if you can fire missiles or shit, but of course we never have missiles in Star Wars. But but if you're faster and you can get out of range, you'll keep going faster. Sooner or later, you'll just be way the fuck out of range. You're not gonna... The whole movie, they stayed at the same distance, just right outside the fucking shield. And on top of this, when the ships run out of fuel, they drift in space like they're getting hit by fucking waves. Like, instead of the ship moving at the same speed that it was going because it's fucking space, it drifts backwards and gets caught. And that one blew my fucking mind too, because I'm like, did they not have a single person, one person working on this movie that got a D- in physics in a high school? Like, you didn't even need... Like, you could actually probably gone to middle school for this one. And that one blew my mind. Like, how did this get over it? As well as the common tropes of why didn't they just send somebody in front of them? Like, they're in such a hurry to kill them the entire movie, but they'll just sit around and wait for 17 hours while they chase them. They will run out of fuel soon. Like, also, how did the leader of the First Order become a frat boy as well? Like, him and Poe should have just had fucking sex. Like, they should have just met up and fucking had it out.
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm not. Ugh.
Yeah, you know who would have been watching? Kylo Ren in the background, shirtless, and Luke would have been drinking some titty milk, astral projecting.
Oh, that's the worst porn movie ever.
That's somebody do it. Parody that shit.
Cocky boys, get off this right now. I don't want that nonsense.
So that was a level of physics fails. I mean, that's the main one. I mean, that was just the biggest problem. I mean, the best part, the best fail in the movie to me, though, was the parking job on the gambling planet. Just
listen,
parking.
He was a stormtrooper. He wasn't a stormtrooper driver. He doesn't know how to park. Do
you know what really happened? This was a deleted scene that I don't think they're even going to add in anytime soon. But they showed up at the spaceport. They got directed to the spaceport, and he found out he had a parallel park. And he had never done that before, so he's like, "Fuck this shit!" into the fucking beach. And then
honestly, that's a millennial mood. I'm not gonna parallel park either. So I totally suddenly the whole scene is forgivable. I know where he's coming from, and I wouldn't do it either. So Forgivable.
I mean, to be fair, I think my car has like an auto parallel parking thing. I guess in the future, the spaceship.
Yeah, you can't talk shit about it.
I mean, to be very fair too,
Forgivable.
we have self-driving cars today, but they don't have self-driving spaceships later, which leads purple-haired chick to kill herself, which is always fun.
Which, again, talking about physics, like the whole entire in-rule universe, like the in-universe rules about like what you can do with, what was it, light speed or whatever. It's just gone to hell now. Because
I can't wait for the next movie. You're just gonna have kids like flying their ships into Star Destroyers and blowing them up with X-wings. It's gonna be the best shit ever.
You just have to just send like your smallest ship against the huge ass Star Destroyers. Just go for it. Just
Also, I implore anybody who enjoyed the movie that's made it this far and is an apologist for it, please feel free to leave a comment below so I can deride you, mock you, and destroy your argument because you're a dumbass.
I don't know what is good about this. I cannot come up with one good thing about this movie. I've tried.
The special effects were really good.
It's been like 3 months,
the special effects were good.
Yeah, but then they gave me that titty. Yeah, so I can't.
I don't know if that was special effect or some dude in the suit who was actually getting his titties milked. That could have been the whole reason.
That is a more terrifying thought than
It'd be more terrifying. Just think it was like Dwayne Johnson in there.
I am terrified and turned on at this point. I don't know what's going on.
I think what amazed me the most about it is the fact that the movie got out of Disney. Like, these fuckers, what was it? Focus group test the living shit out of their movies. You can tell it when you watch a Marvel movie. I mean, for example, Thor Ragnarok. There was literally nothing in Thor Ragnarok that could have been construed as like over the top, but like anything that was like offensive, bad movie telling, a risk, anything. Like Thor Ragnarok was.
You got the devil's anus in Thor Ragnarok, man.
Okay, that was just fun. They knew who they were targeting.
Listen, that won everything. That should have been an Oscar award-winning moment.
But I mean, they didn't take risks, and there's something to be said for taking risks. And there's something to be said for not taking risks. Like Bright's a movie we recently watched, and there's really no risks taken in the movie Bright on Netflix. By the way, I completely tell people to go watch it. It was amazing. There was no risk taken. It was formulaic. You knew it was going to happen. It was still an amazing movie because it was done right. There's something to be said for the standard formula that works when it works. And taking risks in your movie makes sense, but not when you literally take all of them.
You take all of them just to take all of them. You don't take them for the sake of storytelling. You're not taking risks to tell a better story. You're just doing it to subvert some stereotype.
Expectations.
Which is so freaking dumb because, like, what is the point? Like, nobody cares about the story. Your story does not make sense anymore.
Subverting expectations at points would have been fine. Subverting them across the board, once again, it's just, and there's so many constant movie tropes in it that end up being problematic. Like, we've captured you, now we're going to delay your murder when there's no reason to for the next 7 minutes so that you can be rescued heroically. Like, what? No, just murder them. Like, just fucking, I want to watch a movie where they just start offing the fucking people when they get a chance. Like, it'll make it a little more tense, just do stuff faster. You don't need the exposition. Your audience isn't that fucking stupid. They are a little stupid. There's 48% of them that are like pretty fucking stupid. They
were blinded by the mom jeans Kylo Ren wears.
God, it was so bad. Like, fucking, you know what the weirdest part was is that I liked Kylo Ren in this movie compared to the first one. Like, I liked what they were doing with his character, and then they just like, nobody reacts to it right, and they kind of shit the bed on it a little bit.
I just feel like if you like, what are you trying to tell us about? Where was the character development? Like, okay, we knew that he was, torn.
Oh, okay. To be fair, I don't think there was a lot of character development. I think, like I said, Rian Johnson once again just switched characters on people because Rey really doesn't. Well, to be fair, Rey didn't have a character, so her acting different.
No, fuck you.
Poe did, and he acted completely fucking different. Finn was a mix.
Finn wasn't even in the you know what? Oh my god, I love Finn so much. Okay, he was my favorite character in The Force Awakens. He still is my favorite character in The Force Awakens. But he just did not exist in The Last Jedi. Like, there was nothing. He didn't do anything in
Well,
the
he
Last
did.
Jedi.
Rose led him around by a leash. Like Rose.
That was basically it. Like,
empowered woman.
why? What is the point of that? Also, how can you think that this person? I'm still going to be angry about this because it blows my mind. How can you think that somebody, Finn, who talked about how he was in the first movie, taken as a kid, to be raised as a stormtrooper, like a child soldier, blah 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 blah. How can this boy suddenly turn around, look at a planet of slave children, and be like, "Yeah, this is cool, man. I like the casino."
Well, they were white.
Rian Johnson just shit the bed multiple times.
No, it was about you. Emira, you hate this movie because you don't like strong female characters. Shut up, you woman.
Where is the strength? Where is the strength? Please explain to me. What is supposed to be strong about Rey?
They even made Rey an idiot, like fawning over.
Yeah. You wanna give Rey character, you wanna give Rey vulnerabilities, then you make her entire story about her being quote unquote, like, what was it, like, love struck, or not even love struck, like kind of just like bamboozled by Kylo Ren. Like, what kind of story is that? Nobody has been bamboozled by Kylo Ren. Everybody looks at Kylo Ren, this hot topic motherfucker, and goes, yeah, he's probably a bad guy. Nobody is going to be bamboozled.
We haven't even gotten, and the interesting thing is, we haven't even gotten to the part of how much they just shit all over the original trilogy, right? Like, they literally just crap on it nonstop. They just blow Akbar away. Just ignore the fact that Akbar exists and just blow himself to hell. Like, they might as well have just showed him floating out in space with a smile on his face. Like
you mean like Leia?
Like, and then there's Leia, which apparently there was cocaine on that ship, and she had to get back to it. We use the most powerful Force ability known to mankind. Like, she's probably, like, just right. Like, I don't know, if she went to heaven, they probably watched the movie and said, "Nope, you going down there." It's like, it wasn't my fault. Like, it was fucking terrible. Like, the worst CGI too. Like, it was like terrible green screen CGI flying to the fucking ship. And then I think we were watching how it should have ended. Yeah, that was the where it shows Leia coming back. Like, she's coming back, open the door, and they all get sucked out into space. Like, how does she fucking like, and if that's a Force ability that can be used by an untrained person, then why did the Emperor save himself that way? Why didn't, like, so many other, like, it was so stupid. It's always been a universe you can't exert Force control on yourself to move places. You can exert Force control on something else to move to you. But I mean, she should have. Yeah, she moved the ship. Like, why didn't she stay out there and make it go faster than the destroyer?
Someone just gave her, like, an astronaut suit or something. She basically tows it, like, to safety as well.
And then
I would watch that movie, honestly. If that was a movie that was gonna be made, I would watch it rather than the piece of crap that I watched.
Then the complete throwaway of not using Lando Calrissian. A lot of people touched on this one. Like, that was just stupid. Like, how did you throw away Lando Calrissian cameo for this thing? And then
nobody is getting back to us. Nobody has responded our call. Out there, he's like drinking his tea. Like, I didn't hear anything.
Chewbacca gets regulated to single father watching the pets. Like, he just sits on the fucking ship while Rey chases Luke around, like, slapping green milk out of his face. And he's just like, I'm just gonna eat this poro. Like, poor Chewbacca is crapped on. Like, and then fucking Luke. Like, we're watching a Benny Hill skit when he grabs the lightsaber at the start and just throws it away. Like, what the fuck?
That was, oh my god. Can I just talk? Like, let's talk about that moment and how, like, you know, the previous movie, however much you want to hate it, the previous movie has set up that moment to be so important, to be so, you know, plot, to be so integral to the plot, you know. And then
you know what I think
thing that happened.
You know what might have happened?
Tossed it out. It's like there was no emotional payoff.
Wait, is Rian Johnson married?
Honestly, I cannot imagine.
Well, I mean, J.J. Abrams probably fucked his wife.
He should probably have.
This is the only explanation I can see for The Last Jedi. Like, maybe he has a kid and J.J. Abrams fucked his wife and his daughter. Like, because like the level of just shitting on, because you're right. I mean, as much as I didn't like The Last Jedi, if you take it as a standalone movie and ignore the fact that it shits on the original trilogy and mimics A New Hope, it's not an exactly terrible movie. And a lot of the setup, when you do a trilogy, they just threw it out the window. I mean, like, once again, we haven't even gotten to Snoke. We haven't even gotten to all-powerful Snoke, giant floating head. He's the scariest man in the dead. Like, what? This motherfucker just single-handedly connected 2 minds across a galaxy, and then you're telling me that Captain Party Trick just got him? Like,
he got on like a whole like 4 Skype session going on between them, like a conference call, and then he dies because he was locked out of the conference call. Like I'm
just threw that one away. And then the other question: who are Rey's parents? Your parents are shit, bitch. No. And then
what was Obi-Wan's entire like cameo in the first movie for? You had like Ewan McGregor going, "These are your first steps, Rey," and then like immediately, no such thing. Parents were like,
wait, was Ewan McGregor in the first one? I don't even know.
Yes!
That's how much I
The
forgot.
whole point of that whole scene, like the whole point where everybody was super excited for like an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, and Ewan McGregor was because that in that scene, you know, when she first got the lightsaber.
Maybe they'll make it so it's just a fever dream, or they'll just say Kylo Ren was a liar. That's what they're gonna do.
I hope that in episode 9, the first scene we get is once again Finn waking up from, you know, the Bacta tank and being injured from like the 7th movie. I just had the trippiest fucking dream, you guys.
They're gonna announce the 3rd one. It's gonna be Star Wars Shades of Grey. The love story. God, we haven't even gotten to some of the like. This review's been all over the place. The people listening, we are not really that sorry. The movie was that terrible that you can literally just go off on tangents on it. Like, we haven't even gone about the casino scene has been ripped to shreds so many times. Like I think one of the things that made me know I was going to dislike the movie. I went in wanting to like it. I mean, I went in. I kind of enjoyed it as far as like just going to the theater and watching a movie. It wasn't terrible. The same thing can be said of The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was not a terrible movie for me going to watch. It actually took friends, I think like 20-something people to go see it. Friends and family, we all went around Christmas. It was great. We enjoyed it until on the drive home. And I started thinking about it. And I was like, holy crap, that movie actually really sucked when you think about it. And to be fair, once again, there's a lot of movies that can really suck, but be good movies. And it's if they're made and they had fun and the movie is enjoyable. You know, it's like... Were they trying to push an agenda? Were they trying to sell you something? And it felt like, for me, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi were trying to force feed me products. The Force Awakens more than The Last Jedi. Like, it feels like Disney's doing it more because they want to recoup their money and then sell you a bunch of shit with their extended universe, and it is that they're making a good movie. But I mean, part of it could just be the worst focus test groups in the world. I mean, maybe they're doing it only down here in Southern California where we have retards and stoners, you know, all over the place. Because that opening sequence with Poe talking to...
That's basically a boneless pizza meme. Like the entire, I laughed in the theaters when I first watched it. I was like, yeah, shit, this is funny. But like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that was basically Poe ordering a boneless pizza.
It's like they thought the average IQ of their viewer was around 65, which would make sense because they're imbeciles themselves. But I mean, there was just and there was so much from the. It's one of the reasons that I'm going to see Black Panther tonight. Well, probably yesterday by the time I put this video up. But when I go to see Black Panther, I already know. Like, I know I'm going to like the movie. The movie is reviewing pretty decently, about across the board, like 75 or something like that. It's a Marvel movie, so it's going to be good. I like Black Panther as a character. But they bring weird ass politics into it, and then the actors, like, if the studio wasn't doing it, I don't have a problem with it. It's when the studio starts trying to politicize the movie they're making that I think it gets really stupid. And there's points where Boyega, how do you say his name, was out there going like, this movie, I can't say.
I'm so mad that they actually made my boy John Boyega say that, because
he goes on about how this movie delves into war more than any of the other Star Wars movies, and like all they
this is common sense.
Like all they brought you was like
commentary.
Yeah, and it was like the most worthless political commentary ever. And they've done the same thing with Black Panther, by the way. It's where I'm real. There's an interview with the 2 Lord of the Rings guys. What are their names? Freeman? Is it Freeman? Freeman
and Golem.
Yeah. Andy Serkis, whatever. And yes. Is it Andy Serkis? Yeah. And Andy Serkis is going on and on and on about how it's so good. It's so like the racial moves and like how it's so, I gotta find that clip at some point. And he's going on and on. And Freeman looks so uncomfortable because you can tell they were told to say this. And Serkis, bless his heart, as far as an actor, he was going along with it. And they asked Freeman, and Freeman's like, well, none of that really matters unless you made a good movie, and it's a good movie. And it's like, that's true. That's where your basis should be. You shouldn't be trying to push any type of an agenda on somebody in the movie without making a good movie. You can push an agenda in a movie if the movie's a good movie. You can't just make the agenda the movie. And like, once again, another comparison to Bright. Bright deals with race relations really, really well as part of the movie as a whole. And it doesn't feel overboard or thrown in your face. Whereas in Star Wars, war profiteering was just literally felt like it was thrown on, hashed in there, and thrown in your face because they wanted to push an agenda about war profiteering. It had nothing to do with the, for the starters, why the fuck is the Empire buying from war profiteers? And why is there resistance if they had multiple planets? Why aren't they producing their own shit? That's the weirdest thing. That would be like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it was really tacked on as just a, here's something, and we want to show a whole bunch of CGI casino scenes that mean nothing, and woo, they don't know how to park. And we want to rescue some animals because we want to show that in slavery of animals is bad, but those little white children who are force users can just go fuck themselves. Now it's worth it. Best line in the movie.
Now it's worth it. Like a bunch of children are being held as slaves. Yeah, but yeah.
But I rescued the animals that are so huge they're gonna get captured in 17 minutes. Like,
totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Oh, the movie was just a colossal train fucking wreck. I was gonna say, at least they didn't leave us with like stupid cliffhangers, but they really did with this little untrained kid force using a broom. Like,
is that Anakin Skywalker? I don't know. What am I looking at that kid right now?
Dude,
I don't know.
They're going to midi-chlorian test that kid and be like, he's got so many midi-chlorians. Like, there's midi-chlorians just falling off of him. See, I thought they were going to play with the fact that the light and the dark side of the Force are just two sides of the Force and there's no good or evil, but it's a yin-yang type of a thing. And they didn't even play with that. They literally just speaking of Mary Sue, like, if anything that proves she's a Mary Sue is when she dove into the fucking water and knew how to swim. I was so mad at that point.
There's a child.
So mad at that point. Like, I was literally like, "What? You guys just wanted to yell at me she wasn't a Mary Sue for like a whole fucking 2 years. And then she does that shit. I was going to be like, okay, I'll give her the benefit of the into water, swims like a fucking Olympic champion. I feel like the entire movie, she should have just been walking around going, I'm one with the Force is one with me. I'm one with the Force is one with me. So M's on a score of 1 to 10. What do you give the movie realistically?
Negative.
You can't give it a negative on a scale of 1 to 0 to 10. 0 to 10. You can't give it a 0 because it had more to it than a 0.
Like a 2.
Like a 2. Okay, I give it like a 3.5. It was bad, but it was just like, it was cool visuals.
It was bad if you just turned off your brain and watched the colors or something like that.
I mean, it was good if you just turned off your brain and watched the colors.
Oh, yes. It was, yes.
So we recommend this movie if you want to get high and just, I would recommend
if you're trying to get laid, you know, or if you're trying to like, you know.
If you're trying to get laid.
No, like, you know, if
the titty
you want to have
worked for her.
No, like if you have a movie in the background that's like,
hold on.
Hold the phone, like a movie that you don't need to actually watch.
Hold on, is that good pickup lines like, are you lactating because I want to milk you like that? What the fuck was the alien's name?
Yeah, don't even try that with me. I'm kidding.
The best shit. If you're trying to get laid.
Yeah, just because it's a movie that you don't actually want them to watch. You know, you want them to not watch it. So you make sure that you play a movie that you don't actually want them to watch, so they get bored enough.
Okay, guys, she was actually giving really good advice, but she didn't realize it because when you get out of that movie, the more you think about the movie, the more depressed and despondent and more you hate yourself for having watched the movie. And chicks who hate themselves and are depressed and despondent are really easy to have sex with. So she was just advising you to tear down a woman in order to get laid. It
would still be less cringy than what the Last Jedi did with any of the female characters.
That is true. They really shit on every single one of them. It was so bad. Even the fucking, like, the amount of shit that's just unexplained in that movie too. The stupid little what's her name, anus eyes alien chick who gives them the lightsaber. She's just like in some sort of a ninja fight, like on the phone.
They couldn't call her.
Yeah.
She couldn't answer the call. What the hell happened to her? Nobody knows.
There's just so much like, and then like the other questions, like, you know, they plow through the ship, and Ray and what's his face? Jeez, I'm really bad with names. Kylo are just laying unconscious, but Ray clearly wakes up first and takes off because she's gone, but she doesn't kill him. Somebody she's just drawn her weapon on to murder a few minutes ago, and then Hux, the whatever the fuck his name is, just doesn't shoot him while he's on the ground. You had plenty of time. You don't have to slowly remove your gun. Like, that's just going to give them more. They just pull it out and shoot him, you little puss ass. And then, what's it? Finn and Rose completely surrounded by stormtroopers. Ship gets hit. Everything's burning around them except for this nice little area where they're at. They don't got a cinch on them. And there's no stormtroopers. And Phasma, who was just right next to him, is suddenly marching with a bunch of stormtroopers from like a quarter mile away. Like, they're not even running at him to kill him. They're just marching very slowly. As
the stormtroopers. I'm so mad that they filmed like this idea of like a stormtrooper like rebellion, right? Because, you know, something to give, you know, Finn more character development or whatever. They filmed that and then they were like, that's not interesting. Let's just have BB-8 come with like 18, like with the like AT-AT. What the AT-AT?
I don't remember which one it was.
Whichever one it was.
The big ones are the
to like shoot them in the back. That's way more.
I think it's like armored terrain assault transport or armored terrain. I don't know. I don't fucking. Somebody correct us. This is the worst part. Is I'm such a nerd. I don't even know that part. But now, to be fair, BB was still one of the most compelling things in the movie. So BB-8 was
shooting out the like coins. Okay, yeah, actually, I'll bump it up to 3 for the one scene where BB-8 like shoots at people with like casino coins.
Now, if BB-8 and R2 had gotten it on, once again, R2 thrown in the dump. Like, I forgot about that. Like, Luke sees R2 just on the, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's it. Like, poor R2 just gets fucking thrown into the dump, too. They're like, we dug him out of the trash. He was in the back of this Lucasfilm studio. We're going to use him for 2 scenes. Like, holy crap. So terrible. Not to mention, if one X-Wing could disable all the guns on capital ships, like, why aren't we using more, like, just send one X-Wing at every capital ship and, you know, prank phone call them while blowing up their guns. The fucking movie. Also, the rebellion, just 2 points about the rebellion and resistance, is the fact that Poe doesn't know who purple hair cotton candy fuckhead is, but they've been on this base and there's only 200 or 300 of these fuckers left and he's never seen purple hair bitch.
Yeah, like, that's the worst part about, like, you want to shoehorn a character in, fine, whatever, but like, we thought that the resistance was like a huge, like, okay, you know, if like 5,000 men, maybe like 4 ships worth of people, I don't know, like a lot of people, so that, you know, because they made it sound like there was going to be a lot of people. It was like one ship worth.
That pulls me into the next point, though. You understand why there was only like 300 people left, right? There's a scene when they're on Hoth. And wait, what was the planet's name? Not Hoth. When they're on Not Hoth 2.0. Planet? Yeah, when they're on that planet, there's a scene where that brings up the salt, where the dude puts his gloves on the ground and then just licks it. And he says, salt. It's like, that's the level of caliber they're recruiting into the resistance.
That is very true. Actually, I honestly
wipe the fucking ground and then lick the shit they're wiping up. Like, how many diseases and deaths have they had of people just, like, licking poo?
That, I feel, is, like, the most obvious. Like, if you ever were looking for a moment that said, like, this movie is not even a movie, it's just a bunch of scenes to subvert, like, every single expectations you have about Star Wars and or The Force Awakens and or this entire franchise, that scene would be number 1, because that scene shat on every single thing. Like, and it wasn't even for a good reason. There was no like why we have to know it's salt because we don't want to make that Hoth connection. Okay, cool. cool.
I was waiting for somebody to kill one of the crystal dogs and sleep in them. I was hoping. Stab a crystal dog thing.
Or just like wear like little floaties of porgs. Like if Rey was like shown learning to swim by wearing like floaties of porgs.
She's drowning him as she swims.
Like that was basically
Luke's up top wanking it, drinking some green milk.
This movie. Again, a better movie than the actual movie that we got.
Like, the worst part is that I saw some shitty sci-fi movies last year, from Valerian to fucking Planet of the Apes, and Star Wars still took the cake, even though Valerian was so fucking god awful.
Valerian was pretty though.
Valerian was definitely pretty. Like it got.
This one wasn't even pretty.
Yeah, Valerian only got elevated above Star Wars in terms of which one was shittier. Or Valerian got elevated above it as being not as shitty. It was because the concepts, even though not used, were actually really fucking cool. Whereas Star Wars, the concepts were a pile of shit that have been used plenty of times before, or they made no goddamn sense. So that one, like the concepts in Star Wars were either tropes about, you know, gun running, or stupid cliches, or it was just shit that didn't work. Like, I can run my ship at light speed. Also, Leia and fucking purple haired bitch fawning over Poe, like two MILFs, like, oh yeah, he's such a hottie. Then Rey.
Was that supposed to be empowering? Was that really supposed to be empowering?
Yeah, it was very empowering. It made them like.
Who was empowered by that? Please tell me who was empowered by that. I wasn't. I don't think any 50-something.
Well, I'm really bad with name. Ripley needs to come just blow the whole fucking movie away. Like,
that's true. I would actually be empowered if she was in the movie.
Sigourney Weaver just needs to show up and kill some motherfuckers. Like, this is not how the Force works. Flamethrower, some Kylo Ren, like, force dodge this, cunt. Stop a blaster bolt, you ain't stopping a fucking jet stream of flame. Okay, I think we've probably not covered everything terrible with the movie, which is saying something, but we've been going on for a while, and I think she's ready to punch holes in walls and shit. So so just tell us though, did you like Kylo Ren's nips?
No, the only correct answer is no. If you tell us yes,
did you think they had chemistry?
Again, no. The nips?
No, not that. But I meant him and Rey.
Also, no. Is the point. Either way, no.
Fuck, what's my next question? Do you think Rose was an appropriate representation of the Asian race as a whole?
I'm so tired.
Are Asians completely useless twats who enforce and tase people and then go against all of their own moral quandaries and fuck up the whole movie?
Let us down, Rose. You let us down.
Bad Asian representation. If anybody wants a funny thing, though, by the way, just Google, like, racist Wikipedia Rose Star Wars or something. Like, apparently they had to lock the Wikipedia page because the amount of racist shit that people were putting because they hated Rose so much.
Some people are like, she's worse than Jar Jar.
You know what the worst part was? They put that in there to, like, appease, say, the Chinese market or whatever. They want to, like, everybody wants to get their freaking tendrils in the Chinese market, which is so funny because Star Wars pulled in like less than 100 million, and I think they pulled in like $11 million on their opening day in China. Nobody gave a shit about Star Wars, yet they did all this pandering and editing, and people do this all the time. They'll edit their movies so they can play it in the Chinese market. I'm like, they don't fucking go watch the movie. What are you pandering? Like, you made $1.5 billion on everything else. Then you made 0.05% of your budget or your money in fucking China. Yet you pandered and edited your whole fucking movie so it would work in China. Like, if anything tells you about the level of cuck idiocy in fucking Disney and movie executives, that's it right there. Like, that level of min-maxing is just doesn't make any sense because you probably lost more than that 10 million in people who didn't go see the movie because of reviews. So.
I bet Rian Johnson is that guy in your D&D table. You know? That one guy who needs to get kicked off because he was masturbating under the table.
What kind of D&D? So what kind of D&D games are you into? The
horror RPGs. Obviously.
Wow.
Horror RPGs. I'm only turned on when I'm terrified.
So I will include her address down below for anybody who wants to stalk her. You will. Okay. Anyway, that should be it. We're done. I gotta like find screenshots and shit to put on this thing as well. I think it's just gonna be an entire montage of titty milk drinking. I think I could probably find a ton of memes for that shit.
That and the pants, like.
The pants, yes, definitely.
That one comic, you know the one I'm talking about?
No.
With Kylo Ren being the titty milk in the pants.
Oh yeah.
We spoiled it. I'm sorry, I spoiled the comic for you. You guys are gonna see it.
Not if they see the screenshot before I do.
You guys are gonna see it in 3, 2, 1. There you go.
I'm not lining that up. I'm too fucking lazy to re-listen to this audio. I'm not lining anything up. All right, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, once again, if you guys really like the movie and you got this far and I haven't caused you, an aneurysm, feel free to leave a comment and downvote because, fuck it, it helps get publicity for the video, and I'll argue with you and call you a moron. And I mean, if you enjoyed the movie, tell me why. I would like to know why. If you hated the movie, well, we know why. But if you enjoyed the movie, I would like to know why. Like, maybe you just liked it as a popcorn movie. Maybe you were stoned. Maybe you had both your eyes gouged out, your ears were stabbed through, and you were literally just a head, like from Doctor Who, in a box, watching it with the door closed because you couldn't even see the lights coming through. So that makes sense. Nobody's gonna leave a message saying they liked it now. Fucking terrible. Okay, that's it. I'm stopping the recording. Have a good one. And you can say goodbye to everybody. You can say goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. What's it gotta be about race with me? I don't know, because it's funny. Bye, peoples.